Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast media, audio, and radio network. What do we have in store for you on this edition of the program? Rays fire sale as the Tampa Bay Rays gut their starting lineup, their pitching staff, and start to look forward to the future. So 5 dudes, 4 big guys gone. And what do they get in return? What's the plan here? Look at that. Also, some QB cash. Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa. Last few days, get big contracts. Packers have a little more maneuverability than the Dolphins do, but oh my gosh, it starts to close the quarterback contracts. Dak Prescott and then who? So we're going to look at what Tua's deal and Jordan Love's deal means for Dak, what it means for C.J. Stroud, what it means for the next 2 guys up. And after that, we don't have a lot until about 2028. So these quarterbacks are sewn up for a while. We enter a new era in the NFL. Quarterback contracts, quarterback cash is king. And we wrap with some unfortunate anti-American sentiment. Those boycotting the Olympics. Why? Because a French troupe did a little show? Who cares? What does it have to do with Team USA? Look at that as well. Again, Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast media, audio, radio network. Follow, share, like, subscribe. At Harp on Sports Twitter, at Harp on Sports Instagram, Harp on Sports, the Bar, the auditory route, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Harp on Sports YouTube channel, Harp on Sports, of course, the Facebook page, and harponsports.com. All right, Rays fire sale. Went through and looked at this in the last 4 days. Randy Arozarena, gone. Zach Eflin, gone. Jason Adam, gone. Isaac Paredes, gone. Fire sale, fire sale, fire sale. Cleaning it out. And it's pretty simple when you get right down to it. The thought processes, 3 prospects back for our one guy. In the case of a Arozarena, they get 2 back, but they're 2 more quality guys, at least on the higher echelon. When this is all said and done, it's what? 4 guys out, 11 guys in. One of them, actually I should take that, 2 of them big league, that will play this year. The other 9 not going to play this year, unless they're late September call-ups. Are they bailing on the season? Yeah, so what? Here's what they get, okay? I'm going to go in reverse order because Paredes was the last deal. They get Morel from the Cubs. Here's a guy that's going to get, 1851, hit 199. They're going to start third baseman in, third baseman out. And you look at where the Rays sit going forward with Junior in AAA. This dude, look, that's the third baseman and shortstop of the future. But what this does is it gets you a starter. Paredes is gone. You get Morel in, and you can control him for 2 more years, or 2 more years longer than you were going to control Paredes. And what do you get? You get Biggie, a reliever. There's your other. You get two Major League Baseball players in return. And then, this Ty Johnson guy, a reliever at A-ball. Oh, okay. So they get a guy in the pen. They get another starting third baseman. And they're giving up about what when you get down to it? They're giving up about 4 home runs, about 8 RBI, and about 40 points in average. So it's almost like it's a third baseman swap. You give up a little, and then you get a guy that you can use in the pen, and then a guy at single A. Okay. The Eflin deal is a little bit more interesting. I was going through and looking at that. This was it Matt Etzel. This is a guy that, what's he got? 14 home runs, 37 RBI, hitting 304. Okay, there's your outfielder. And then you've got, what else you get? Oh, you got yourself a catcher. You get yourself, that was part of the Adam deal, excuse me. You essentially get yourself a bullpen. I take that back. You get yourself an arm. This Baumeister guy, this Jackson Baumeister guy. So you get another arm in the pen. Dude's 1 and 3. So, okay, well, A-ball, double A. You get a couple more minor leaguers. This is just, and I can sit here and rip through these guys' stats. essentially what you're doing is you're stockpiling 10 or 11 guys and hope that you can replace these 4 with 4. It's a swap. And that these guys' future that you're going to get is going to be more bright. And Jason Adam is where you get what is it? Homer Bush Jr., outfielder at the A level. Dylan Lesko, 1-9 at A ball on the mound. That's not going to do much for you. JD Gonzalez, a catcher behind the plate. Of course, behind the plate. He's a 3rd-round draft pick from last year. And you look at these, I think 4 of these guys were draft picks last year. So they've got a year of minor league ball under them. Oh, okay. And through all this stuff, Junior Cavallero, he's going to be up next year. He's going to be the everyday shortstop. The Wander Franco era, gone. You can start to move on a little bit. If Junior lives up to the hype, you're ushering in a massive new era in Tampa. And we've known this. We look over the course of the years, what you've seen with Blake Snell. Good gosh. I mean, pick a starting pitcher. Pick a Rasmussen, pick one. Off they go. And Randy Arozarena is the big deal. And this is I saved this one for last because it gives you the 2 biggest guys in return. Bernie Hopkins, 4-3, sub 3 RA at the A ball level. And what else do you have here? Aiden Smith, hitting 290, 9 home runs, 42 RBI as an outfielder. Okay. Two of these guys will play right away. The guys in the Paredes Cubs trade will play right away. So this is basically looking around going, okay, I've got a 27-year-old. I'll trade that 27-year-old for a 25-year-old. I get a couple more years of control. At least that's what happens with the Paredes deal. These other deals are, we're trading guys that aren't going to be around much longer and getting prospects in return. And I think when it's all said and done, 4 of these guys fit into the Rays' top 20 prospects at the minor league level. Now, here's the crazy part. None of this is going to pan off until 26. Morel and Beggy are 2 stopgaps in 24, 25. But none of these guys are really going to start making impacts until 26. But you've got 2 catchers that are 300 hitters, at least in the ballpark of that are quality catchers. You've got you've added 4 new starters into the rotation. 4 new starters? You've added 2 more outfielders, 2 more relievers. You're fine at short and third. So, and look, there's other guys in there because they keep trading guys. You know, this organization does this. And you have to take a step back, and I know Rays fans are upset, and I get it. I have every right to be upset. But you have to look at yourself as an organization that's going to do what? You have to look at this. You have to say ownership, we get a new ballpark. Maybe things will change. The Twins moved into their new ballpark. They gave Joe Mauer a long-term deal. Made the playoffs a couple times. Didn't win a World Series, but they went for it. Padres get a new ballpark. Ownership's really tight. Padres' biggest spender in baseball the last 4 or 5 years. Red Sox do the exact opposite. They tear things down and they're rebuilding. Money-wise, Royals, tear it down, rebuild. You look around, the Nationals spent big money. Montreal never spent big money. Got their early days in D.C., didn't spend money, now spending a ton of money. Marlins, get a new ballpark, don't do squat. So if you're a Rays fan, you're sitting here thinking, man, we keep trading these guys. We keep blowing this thing up. What's going on? Well, what's going on here is you were going to start to hit some big-time arbitration deals with these guys. You were going to sign these guys long-term. You can call some guys up here, get them some big league reps, 50, 60, 70 at-bats over the course of the last 6-7 weeks of the season here. Head into the offseason. And who knows what you're going to do in the offseason? Who knows who's coming up through the system? If I'm a Rays fan, I look around and go, okay, not in the worst shape in the world. Some of these guys are going to start coming up through the system now. All right. Now, how quickly? The one thing the Rays do a good job is finding guys that are like, well, okay, that guy's over in that organization. Wow, okay, he's a starter. Okay, he's doing stuff for us. And look, they weren't catching the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees, they could have caught the Yankees, I guess. The Orioles are not ready to compete on that stage yet. A couple years ago, they were. And they kind of blew it up a little bit, right? You had Kiermaier, you had some of these, you had Snell, these guys had to blow it up, had to start over. And it's kind of one of these cycles. But this year you traded, around 500, and they haven't had the opportunity to trade these guys during the year. That's what's also interesting about this. You've seen moves in the offseason, but you haven't seen moves in the season. And the Rays are looking around going, we got some teams that are pretty desperate. We got some teams right now that want to make a run at things. Let's take advantage of these guys. And now you've completely and totally rebuilt your minor league. You've got multiple players at each position, and you hope of these 11 guys, 4 or 5 of them click, and you're good to go in 2 years. You're good to go in 2 years. What's amazing about these guys, and I went through and looked at the Rays minor league system, top 25 prospects. 10 of them on pace to steal 45 or more bases. I want you to think about that. You can see where this organization is going. These Rays prospects, 10 of them on pace to steal 45 or more bases this year. That's a lot. This team's built on speed going forward. So I look at it, it's where this organization is. Now, what you'd like to do is get yourself in a position like the Braves did, get a new ballpark. And what did the Braves do? Braves start signing 4, 5, 6 guys to long-term deals. Okay. The Rays tried to do that with Wander. It didn't work out. Okay. They did a little bit with Lau. They've done it every now and then with some of these guys. But they just keep rebuilding, reloading. They're going to lose you for nothing. Rebuilding. You have to look at it kind of like what Oklahoma City did a couple years ago, where they traded James Harden. They traded, Russell Westbrook. They start trading guys, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what are they thinking? It's like, well, they're accumulating draft picks. They've got 6 or 7 first-round draft picks. They hope 1 or 2 of them hit. SGA hits. And that's what this is. You have to look at what the Rays are doing now is what Oklahoma City did in basketball 4 years ago. Oh, there you go. I mean, I'm just going through and looking at this. I know they're just a game back. It's a bunch of single A guys. So what does this tell me? You'll have 2 of these guys up next year that are already up there because it's part of the Cubs trade. So you kind of get a stopgap in here and kind of, okay, we'll still be able to compete this year. And who knows? Maybe find you try to find that David Ortiz guy, right? Like the Red Sox did. Okay, he's doing that. Okay, bring him in here. Boom, all of a sudden he becomes 30 and 90. Then he becomes 40 and 100, and then all of a sudden, wow, look what we found. I don't know if Sorrell's going to be that guy or Morel's going to be that guy, but not a great day for a Rays fan. Not a great weekend, although they did win a couple games. This is just the business of being a Rays fan. And you hope that, again, 3 or 4 of these guys work. You sign them to long-term deals, and you turn yourself into a mini Braves organization. But you got to find those guys. You got to find that Acuna. You got to find that guy. And they had him a couple years ago. Wander. Just didn't work out. All right, from that to this. Big quarterback deals. Tua gets his deal done. Jordan Love gets his deal done. The business of quarterbacks, they're $50 million a year, $50 million plus over 4 years. 5 years. What do we have here? Well, I went through and did the math on these guys. Tua and Jordan Love. Wow. Jordan Love. Or let's start off with Tua first. These are his this is his money over the course of the next 5 years. $14 million this upcoming year. All right. 39 next. 68 year 3. 60 year 4, 62 year 5. Year 3, 40 million. Dead money. 26 million. Year 4, year 5, 14 million. Dead money. There's void deals in here as well. So what does this tell you? Well, the Dolphins, the problem with this is the Dolphins are $44 million over the cap next year, and they're $15 million over the cap in 2026. Part of that deal will be Tyreek Hill's deal, in which if you put some of that money in 27, you can rework some things here. Then the Dolphins are $140 million under the cap in 2027. So it's going to get tight in Miami. The Dolphins have a 2-year window before they're going to have to blow some things up. Trade some guys away, draft some guys. Here we go. Going to have to maneuver and shake things around a bit. Kind of similar to what the Bills had to do this year. It's like, okay, we're up against it now. Let's redo this. So that's the Tua deal. The Jordan Love deal, 20, 29, 36, 42, 74 million. Christ. In 27, 74 million with a $40 million in dead money, and then 34 and 15. Okay. So the Jordan Love deal has more maneuverability, plus the Packers aren't pinned up against the salary cap like the Dolphins are. The Dolphins this year, then they can maneuver some and move some money around. You can always pay off this year with next year. Look, Tyreek's $52 million. They can go to him and say, hey man, we'll get you that money, but we're going to bury it in 2027. So here's $44 million up front. We're going to redo your deal. Oh, okay. So he still gets paid. The money just goes into the third year, and all of a sudden, Tyreek Hill's deal, all of a sudden, he's making $15 million according to the cap less, and you're $44 million over. Now you're $29 million, and you can start to maneuver a little bit. Or you can cut him, and you're down to $10 million. So Tua's done. It's a done deal. Jordan Love, it's a done deal. So now the question, who's next? It's Dak Prescott. What's Dak going to get? What's Dak going to get? What's amazing is Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes aren't even in the top 7. Now, Patrick's deal is a lot longer. Josh Allen's the one that signed that deal in 21, and he signed for multiple years and looked like a good deal, but now all these 4 and 5 year deals, you'd have to make a long-term commitment to these guys. It's where Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, their greatness and the fact that you have no doubt at that position. See, Jordan Love, there's still some doubt, right? The Dolphins and Tua, there's still some doubt. The Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, there's still some doubt. There's no doubt with Josh Allen. There's no doubt with Mahomes. So you can give them longer deals, but it means less money. Although they're doing fine, don't get me wrong. They're getting more money up front, less money on the back end. So Dak, what? What are we looking at Dak? Basically, we're at 5,275 now. 5,280. Dak's going to ask for what? He's going to ask for 5,300. Is he going to get it from Dallas? Do you give him 5,300? Something tells me if you go to the Cowboys, you would like to get him a deal. Okay, well, you're not going to get it. He's going to be the highest paid quarterback per year. He's going to be number 1. It's just a question of what does Dak want? Does Dak feel slighted? Does Dak feel cheated? Does Dak want 5,280? Just a shade above 275? Does he want 56 a year? Or does Dak look around and go, I want 58 a year. I want 5,290. And then CJ Stroud, you were wondering who the first $300 million man is. It's going to be CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's going to be the first $300 million guy. And he has another good year this year. A $300 million guy. Patrick Mahomes is a $450 million guy. So the next $300 million guy is going to be CJ Stroud. So if he goes out and has another good year this year and the Texans are in love, okay, we got our guy. Then that final year of that deal, whenever it rolls around, if CJ Stroud looks to be legit playoff guy like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes, all of a sudden you can look around. If you're the Texans, you're like, okay, how does 8,500, you're going to start to see things like that. So there you go. QB cash, baby. QB cash. But those two are it. There's all these deals are done through 28, 29. You're entering the era in the NFL where quarterback deals are done. I went through and counted. We've had 10 quarterback deals done now since the season ended that are 3 years or longer with starters. Kirk Cousins. Just in the AFC South or the NFC South alone, Kirk Cousins gets what? 3 years, 90 plus million. Kirk Cousins gets that. Baker Mayfield. Kurt was 4/160. Baker's 3/100. Okay, so those two are done. And then you start going, well, Justin Herbert got his, of course. Check. Who else got theirs? Okay, Lawrence got his. Check. Well, Tua got his. Jordan Love got his. Check, check. Matt Stafford got his. Check. Jared Goff got his. Check. Deal after deal after massive deal after massive deal after massive deal. Not to mention, I mean, now these teams get to go back through and navigate. Third of the league, 10 out of the 30 teams now have their quarterback locked up until the late 2020s. So Dak's next, and then CJ Stroud not for 2 more years. So this offseason is going to be fascinating. And that's also one of those things that Dak can look at the open market and go, what do I want to do? Do I want to wait? Because if you're Dak Prescott, this is why you would wait. You could look around from Dallas's perspective and be like, look, they're not going to pay me fine. Aaron Rodgers retires at the end of the year. I can go sign a 5-year, $300 million deal with the Jets. Right? Start looking at things like that. I wanted to wrap with this. Saw this over the weekend, of course, the Olympics. I enjoy the Olympics. LeBron looked amazing. Team USA, awesome. I'm not one of these that becomes obsessed with it. It's not what it used to be, but what is. I do know this, though. Those are people boycotting it because some French troupe, some blue guy did some Last Supper. Come on. So I always get a kick out of people that are I'm not watching the Olympics. So you're going to abandon and not watch our athletes because something a bunch of French people did? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I saw this, and over the weekend, I'm not going to watch it. It's a shame. It's a shame that so many athletes out there aren't going to get the support because of you're choosing to do that. You are. So you're going to punish American athletes. And you're not really punishing them. You're not going to watch them. You are making the active choice not to watch American athletes because of what a blue guy did in France in the rain at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday night. Well, they're mocking Christianity. The Americans didn't. Even if you believe that, fine. Look, if that upsets you, I'm not going to sit here and lecture you on what should upset you and what shouldn't upset you. If that truly upsets you, okay, what does that have to do with Team USA? What does it have to do with them? I'm not watching it. Oh, okay. Shame on you. And, I was watching a little soccer, watch some gymnastics, and go ahead, don't watch it then. Sit around and pout. I'm offended. Isn't it amazing the people that love America bail on Americans? Say, I love America. The people you said America first, I'm not watching the Olympics. I'm not watching Team USA. Aw. Why? So many people that love America can't stand Americans. And this has nothing to do with them. Chalk me up as somebody that's not going to not consume Team USA because of what a blue French guy did Friday night at 11 o'clock at night. So what? Nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with Americans. Well, it's just offensive. Okay. All right. Say people cheer a football player that gets accused of sexual assault. Say people get outraged over the most ridiculous things. Giants fans give Barry Bonds a standing ovation after the steroid scandal. Yeah. Florida State fans with Jameis Winston. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rashid Rice, which Chiefs fans are gonna give him a standing O. It's ridiculous. Boycotting the Olympics. Say it out loud. I am boycotting the Olympics because a French guy dressed in blue pretended, even though it was the Feast of Dionysus, but it was the Last Supper, and they're mocking Christianity, so I am not going to watch Team USA. Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast, media, audio, radio network. Follow, share, like, subscribe at Harp on Sports Twitter, at Harp on Sports Instagram, Harp on Sports, the Auditory Route, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Harp on Sports Facebook page, Harp on Sports YouTube channel, of course, harponsports.com. Remember, stay clean, stay focused, stay strong. Frankenstein, have fun with your friends.